Hello and welcome to game 2 of the final match in the D division here. This kingdom looks relatively straightforward. You have a strong attack in Torture, which also draws cards. You have a village to play it. You do have defense and lighthouse, but that's fine. You still want the draw engine. And then you have your choice of plus buy. Trashing you get from Ratcatcher, maybe Bishop. I don't think Bishop, but maybe. But probably Ratcatcher. The crucial choice here is what are you going to use for your plus buy? And the answer is it depends on how the shuffles go a little bit. So, for example, horse traders. Okay, I have the 5-2, so that's very straightforward and very good for me, I think. Torture on 5, Ratcatcher on 2 seems to be very straightforward. But on 4-3, I think horse traders is a reasonable way to start. It is a good card to get you to 5, and it provides some small defense against Torturer, maybe. And then you probably pair that with a Rat Catcher. So already you have your plus buy if you have 4-3 via the horse traders. Later, you could think if you want to do wine merchants or candlestick makers. I don't think you would want to do more than one horse traders for plus buy, but maybe you do. I don't know. So they get the plus buy and horse traders as we expect. I get my rat catcher, and I think my opponent also goes and gets a rat catcher as well. Yeah, there goes the rat catcher. Now 4 for me here is an interesting choice. I choose walled village. As you see, I could have taken the horse traders there. I didn't really want to take the horse traders yet. Um, because I knew the torturer and the rat catcher was coming up, and walled village is actually a great village here for building the torturer chain, because if you don't find the torturer, the walled village just goes back on top of the deck, and then you could find it on the next hand probably. um so I would likely draw into something dead, either the horse traders or the walled village. I would prefer it be the walled village for now. Maybe I could get candlestick maker or something for my plus buy instead. Um, Terminal space is a serious consideration for the plus buy as well. You will need some number of villages to play your torturers, and then, I mean, assume you only get 5 of them, right? So how many wine merchants or horse traders can you really play? 2, 3 maximum, maybe, and that might be fine. That might be okay. That might be enough. But candlestick maker is non-terminal, so that is, you know, something to think about at the very least. You could just use all your actions for draw and then draw into candlestick makers for the plus buy. Again, you'll have to see how the shuffles go, right? But I don't think you want to compete, or you won't have space for too many horse traders or wine merchants. So my opponent makes an interesting play. They get another horse traders there. I'm not really sure why. I thought one is enough. Horse traders is not. It's not like Watchtower, which will just trash the curses out. It provides some relief from the discard attack from the torturer. That's what it does. So I'm not, I don't know, I'm not convinced by that horse traders there. I thought that would have been a walled village. Um, but we'll see. I actually draw, so that's interesting. I draw 5-2 on turns 1 and 2, and then I draw 3 and 4 on turns 3 and 4. So I just get another rat catcher on my turn 4. I do want at least 2 of them. Curses will be coming in probably, so probably even 3 rat catchers is the way to go. So 4 here, sorry, turn 4 for my opponent. Last turn they only had 4, right? They did not play their horse traders, so likely they play their horse traders here and get the torturer, which is why I was expecting the walled village on turn 3. But it turns out they didn't even see their horse trader, so they also had a bad shuffle there. They only had money, or not only had money, but they wanted the rat catcher with the money they had. I am at least able to put down both my rat catchers and play my torturer to cause some uncomfortable decisions. So the horse traders react from my opponent. but that leaves them with only 4 cards in hand, and then they have to choose to take a curse or to discard 2, which is a little more uncomfortable when you have a 4 card hand as opposed to a 5 card hand. So they take the curse in the end. I get to 5, and that seems like an automatic torturer. Again, this is even more enabled by the walled village because it'll top deck itself if you don't find that torturer. You find wall village torturer, you probably find the second torturer behind it as well. So 5 for torturer there I think is reasonable. Curse gets trashed by the rat catcher and a torturer for my opponent. I get a double trash with my rat catchers here and a double attack with the torturer. They do get to react host traders again, but after making them discard 2 cards, they are forced almost to take a curse. Still gets up to 5 power of horse traders. Probably they want a walled village at this point because they have none, but they opt for lighthouses instead, which is fine. I get another 5, and this I'm looking for an opportunity to get a plus buy, but I don't know when that is, and I decide to just do it now. Why do I do it now, right? Because I know these walled villages are going back on top of the deck, and I know I have 2 torturers that will likely chain with these walled villages, so I will probably draw into that plus buy on my next turn immediately, and I choose Candlestick Maker over Horse Traders because it is non-terminal, and I don't really care for the money that much right now from the Horse Traders. Plus, you see what is happening with them, right? When the Horse Traders comes out of the hand, it kind of makes it more difficult to discard there. Alright, so Lighthouse comes down for them, my opponent, and they get a second Torturer. I don't like that. They have now 4 terminals and no villages. Somewhere along the line, one of those things should have been a village, I felt. They react again with their horse traders. So the double horse traders is doing work for them. They are getting a lot of reactions from it and drawing cards off of it afterwards. But they haven't any villages, which seems like a serious concern. Here's my plus buy, as I expected. I mean, in hindsight, maybe this could have been a horse traders for a little bit more money, but I didn't want to take up the terminal space with horse traders. If I was going to use terminal space for plus buy, it was wine merchant, not horse traders. I don't care for the reaction part for it. Okay, so here's going to be a walled village, and I will start to build my lighthouse defense as well by 1 now and probably 1 when I get that one into play. Not a great turn for me here, but whatever, that's fine. I'll have probably 1 or 2 more bad turns before the deck comes together. Lots of rat catchers called for my opponent. They trash 2 cards, get up to 5 again. Power of horse traders. I think it should be a village at this point, but they go for a lighthouse, and they actually use March to put the lighthouse in place. So they're very concerned about getting hit with the torture attack, I understand. Unfortunately for them, I didn't have anything that turn. Just had a couple cards to trash and 3 coin here, probably 4. In the end here, I am going to get a silver. Seems weird. Maybe. Could be another walled village if I wanted. Even another candlestick maker. But I bought the silver because a little bit more money. That's the only reason. And I will likely draw back into the silver here because again, I know that I have all my villagers on torturers coming up. Torturer comes out here, I discard, which hurts my chances of finding that silver. Maybe I still will, but we'll see. The discard is easy for me, just copper estate, not a big deal. 6 for my opponent, farmland, trashes an estate into a walled village, finally. Another reaction of horse traders for them. They are defended by their lighthouse. I do not see my silver, unfortunately. See, they force me to discard 2 cards. How many cards are left on top of the deck? 2. Impactful discard there. Alright, so I get my lighthouse down, which means I want the second one now. And I'll get another torturer here. I have the terminal space and I need the draw. Makes sense to me. Another lighthouse for my opponent. Another horse traders. They need villages, really. They are under the pump though, you know, they have to deal with more torture attacks early. They get another rat catcher to help in that regard, and another walled village. I have a beautiful turn here, even with overdraw. 7 and 2 buys. I am going to get the wine merchant now. So now my thoughts are, alright, look, 3 torturers are enough. Let me build up with walled villages and wine merchants, because it looks like, well, I could win that village split and then put down 3 or 4 wine merchants. That is a heap of money. So I am going to start in on that plan, wine merchant and another silver here, because I overdrew by 2 cards, I think. I can add the silver on the wine merchant and I'll be cool, I think. If I have a good draw, right? If I have a good draw. Another dead torturer for my opponent. Take some arena points and they buy a walled village. They did not get a lighthouse up here. And that encourages me in this position to play torturer instead of the wine merchant. Now there's some interesting choices on what to discard here, because potentially you could march and put the card into play. So I could march the wine merchant and get 1 extra coin, but then I would have to have 2 left over to get it off the mat, so that doesn't make sense. I could discard the rat catcher and march it to put it into play for next turn. Didn't want to do that. I just wanted to use my money to get another walled village and another candlestick maker for the plus buy predominantly. No torture for my opponent, more rat catchers for them. I have to be wary of a pile out because they have a small points lead. They discarded many cards to arena, even while being attacked so often. All the dead draw from the torturers help with that too. And I don't want to give them an opportunity for an easy pile out. Walled villages are low, rat catchers are low, lighthouses are low, and they have the horse traders for plus buy. Again, dead draw for me here. And I do actually make use of the march on this turn. I discard the torturer and use march on it because there are no draw cards in those remaining 7 cards. I need to get through this horrible shuffle as quickly as possible, get into a new shuffle that might be more favorable for me, and the rest of the money goes into a walled village. So let's see what the new shuffle offers us. Luckily, I was able to get a lighthouse up, so I'm able to block this torturer from them. My opponent finally strings together a walled village torturer chain, picking up another torturer. I think they have 3 now. But they didn't get a lighthouse in play, so they get smashed by triple torturer on this turn. I see all my plus buy, some overdraw again here. This is dubious. I maybe could have played that candlestick maker instead of discarding it for the last of the arena points. But I was a little bit concerned about pileouts at this point. 4 curses, 5 lighthouses, 2 old villages, 2 rat catchers. And I really didn't want to lose this game after opening 5-2 on a torture rat catcher board. So I took the points. I didn't really need the plus buy or the coin. And before I get to buy anything, my opponent resigns, understandably so. That did not look like a pleasant game for them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.